My wife declared, "I'm getting sterilized. No kids, ever." I said, "Your choice." Then I filed for divorce and married her younger sister. The pregnancy reveal at Christmas broke her. I'm 32, male, a meticulous planner. I map out my finances, career, and vacations. For 8 years, I built a future with my wife, Nora, 31. We dated for 3 years, married for 5. Our 5-year plan, scribbled on a diner napkin during our second anniversary, was clear. Clear her student debt, save for a house deposit, buy a home, then start a family. We hit every goal, even ahead of schedule. 3 months ago, we bought our first house. I spent weeks assembling nursery furniture, not because we were expecting, but because I was thrilled, because that was the plan. We stood in the empty room, the scent of fresh paint lingering, and I said, 2 years from now, this room will be alive. She smiled, or I thought she did. Last Tuesday, she dropped a bombshell. It wasn't a conversation. It was a decree. We were having dinner. I was discussing turning the small study into a playroom down the line. She set her fork down, locked eyes with me, and said, "I'm not having kids, Ethan. I've booked a tubal ligation for next month. It's final." I just stared. The silence was deafening. All our plans, late-night talks about baby names, the shared dreams, they vanished. "Okay," I said, my voice unnervingly steady. She blinked, caught off guard. She probably expected an argument, a plea, a debate. "Okay?" she echoed. "Your body, Nora," I said, picking up my fork. "Your decision." She relaxed, a smug little smile curling her lips. "I knew you'd get it. I just don't want to sacrifice my life, you know. Our life. We can travel, be free." I nodded and finished my meal. I didn't get it. And if she thought I did, she didn't know me at all. She hadn't just decided against kids. She'd nullified our entire marriage agreement single-handedly. She'd let me buy a house, build a nursery, and dream of a future she had no intention of joining. She watched me do it and stayed silent. That wasn't a change of heart. That was betrayal. The next morning, while she was at yoga, I called a lawyer. I packed a bag. I transferred half our savings, my half from my inheritance, into a new account in my name only. I took one thing from the wall, a massive custom world map we'd bought together, where we'd planned to mark all the places we'd take our kids. When she got home, I was on the couch with a folder. "What's that?" she asked, sweaty and smiling. "Divorce papers," I said. "Our plan is dead. So are we." Her face collapsed. The entitlement, the smug certainty turned to shock. "You're divorcing me over kids? That's insane. We have a great life." "No," I corrected. "You have the life you want. I was building a life you secretly had no intention of living. That's not a partnership. That's deception." She's been calling, texting, raging for days. She says I'm throwing away everything over a hypothetical person. She's wrong. I'm throwing her away for a very real betrayal. My lawyer says it'll be a clean split. No kids, mostly separate finances. The house is the only major asset. She thinks this is a bluff. She thinks I'll come around. I won't. I'm not sad. I'm hollow. But my plans have shifted. The goal's the same. Just the person I'm with is now to be determined. Update 1, things have spiraled. As expected, Nora's shock morphed into white-hot fury. The divorce is moving forward, but it's messy. Her new favorite term is spousal support. Her lawyer claims my abrupt and cruel abandonment has harmed her ability to work. It's nonsense, a stalling tactic. Her main obsession, oddly, is a piece of furniture. It's a large wooden storage cabinet I designed and built myself, with dozens of shallow drawers for art prints and sketches. The special part is the base. I crafted a hidden compartment in the thick platform. My grandfather, a master carpenter, made me a small keepsake box with a similar secret latch when I was a kid. Inside, he left his vintage carving tools. My plan was always to pass those tools to my own child someday, in a piece I made myself. It's the only thing, besides my clothes and the world map, I insisted on keeping. Nora's fighting me for it. She called it that bulky thing for years, but now it's a priceless marital asset. She knows what it means to me. She told her lawyer, I'm stealing a family heirloom. My lawyer smirked. We have photos of me building it in our old apartment's garage, years before we married. It's a blatant petty power grab. Her family, Robert and Diane, have been awful. They called, not to understand, but to scold. Nora made a choice for her own body, Ethan. You're punishing her by wrecking your marriage? Diane yelled over the phone. I replied, I'm not punishing her. I'm accepting her choice and making mine. You can't have a marriage when you're following two different roadmaps. The one reasonable person in this chaos is her younger sister, Lila, 27. She called me a week after the split. I'm so sorry, Ethan, she said softly. I don't know what Nora was thinking. She told me she'd felt this way for a year. I urged her to talk to you. I never thought she'd just blindside you. It was like a weight lifted. I talked for an hour. Lila listened. No judgment, no excuses for Nora. She just understood. We started talking more, texts at first, then calls. She's an illustrator and genuinely admired the storage cabinet, asking about the wood type and craftsmanship. It felt good to talk to someone who didn't see me as the bad guy. Last week, we met for coffee. Not a date, just two people, caught in the same storm, finding a moment of calm. She said her family's pressuring her to fix me. She refused. My sister lied to you for a year, Ethan, she said, stirring her cappuccino. She let you buy a house for a family she knew she didn't want. That's not a change of heart. That's betrayal. Hearing her say it so plainly was more relieving than I can describe. Nora found out about the coffee. I don't know how. Maybe she checked Lila's social media. She went ballistic, sending over 30 texts accusing me of starting an affair with her sister before we split. She claimed I'm turning her family against her. It's a new level of entitlement. I can upend our life, but you can't find solace with anyone, especially not in my circle. My lawyer sent a cease and desist for the harassment, and we won the fight over the cabinet. My lawyer showed receipts for the lumber dated 2 years before our wedding. Nora was livid. She's not just losing the marriage, she's losing control, and she can't stand it. Update 2. It feels like a lifetime. The divorce finalized 4 months ago. Nora's spousal support claim was thrown out after her own social media showed her on 2 international trips post-separation. Her lawyer quietly dropped the emotional distress argument. The house sold. After splitting the proceeds, we both got a decent sum. I put mine into a new condo, smaller, but mine. The storage cabinet sits in my new living room. It fits better here. Lila and I are together. It happened naturally, without drama. Coffee dates became dinners. Dinners became her staying over for movie nights. One evening, it just felt right. We've been a couple for about 7 months. It caused a firestorm in her family, to put it mildly. A total upheaval. Nora, upon learning, went nuclear. She didn't just yell at me, she tried to turn everyone against Lila. She told her parents Lila had been plotting for years, seducing me when I was vulnerable. Robert and Diane, her parents, bought it completely. They called Lila and disowned her. No exaggeration. Her father said she was dead to him for ruining her sister's marriage. They cut her off entirely. No calls, no financial help. Not that she needed it, but it was the principle. Nothing. It was brutal. For a week, Lila was a mess. She felt guilty, despite doing nothing wrong. I held her, let her cry. Reminded her Nora's actions caused this, not hers. We were just rebuilding in the ruins she left. Nora's dirty tricks got more desperate. She learned Lila landed a major freelance gig with a top tech company. Nora tried to sabotage it, sending an anonymous email to the project lead's public work address, filled with lies about Lila being unreliable, erratic, and a homewrecker. It backfired spectacularly. The project lead, A woman in her 50s who'd survived a messy divorce saw through it. She called Lila, shared the email, and said, "Just so you know who you're dealing with. And by the way, we're extending your contract." Lila's work was so stellar they put her on retainer. Nora's attempt to ruin her career ended up boosting Lila's career and confidence. The ordeal strengthened us. We became a team. The outside world, her family, her sister, was just noise. 6 weeks ago, we flew to the coast and married on a beach. Just us and a stranger we asked to be a witness. It was perfect. Simple, quiet, ours. We're happy. Truly, deeply happy. We got a dog. We're making our own plans. We've started discussing our own timeline. A family. The thing I've always wanted. We haven't told her family we're married. They think we're just dating. We decided to wait. Wait for the perfect moment. And Christmas is coming. Final update. It's done. The final piece has fallen. Lila's grandmother, a formidable woman and the family's undisputed matriarch, demanded a Christmas Eve reunion at her house. Attendance wasn't optional. Lila hesitated, but I said we should go. We have nothing to hide, nothing to be ashamed of, I told her. Let's face them together. We knew Nora would be there. We were ready, or thought we were. When we walked in, the room's warmth dropped instantly. Robert and Diane shot us a look that could sour wine. Nora held court by the fireplace, looking smug. She ignored us pointedly, which suited me fine. For an hour, we made small talk with cousins and aunts who were visibly uneasy. Then came the gift exchange. It was all very polite. Then Lila and I exchanged a glance. It was time. We had a small, elegantly wrapped gift for her parents. Lila handed it to Diane. "We have something to share," she said, her voice calm. Diane opened it with a sneer. Inside was a simple silver picture frame. No photo, but engraved on it were the words, "Due June 2026. Inside we placed a small card, an ultrasound image. Diane stared. Her face went blank. She handed it to Robert, whose jaw dropped. He looked at Lila, then me, eyes wide. Nora, noticing the sudden hush, strolled over. "What's going on? What'd you get?" she asked, her voice falsely cheery. She leaned over her father's shoulder to see the frame, and then she saw it. I'll never forget her expression. It wasn't just anger or shock. It was a complete system crash. The smugness, the confidence, the entitlement, all shattered in a moment. You're pregnant?" she whispered, voice breaking. Lila placed a hand on her stomach, meeting her sister's gaze, not with triumph, but with calm. "We're married, Nora. And yes, we're expecting." That's when the meltdown hit. It wasn't just shouting. It was a raw, guttural scream of loss and rage. "You stole my life!" she shrieked, pointing a shaking finger at Lila, then me. "That was supposed to be my house, my husband, my—" She couldn't say baby. "You planned this. You waited for me to fail." The whole family stood frozen, watching in horror. I stepped in front of Lila, not to play hero, but to be a shield. I looked at Nora, my voice low, emotionless. "Nobody stole anything, Nora. You threw it away. You held a winning hand and burned it because you decided you didn't want the prize. Lila and I just chose a different path." I turned to her parents. "And you two, you disowned one daughter for finding happiness, all to protect the one who lied and deceived everyone. You picked your side. Hope you're happy with it." Robert and Diane looked shattered, staring at Lila's stomach, then Nora's tear-streaked, contorted face. The dream of grandkids was happening, but with the daughter they'd discarded and the man they'd vilified. Their path to their first grandchild was through us, the people they'd publicly condemned. You could see the frantic math in their eyes. Nora was sobbing now, muttering incoherently about betrayal and unfairness. We didn't stay to watch the rest. Lila took my hand, and we left, leaving the chaos behind. The drive home was quiet. Lila finally spoke. "I feel free," she whispered. My phone buzzed before we got home. A text from Diane. Lila, please, let's talk. Then one from Robert. We're so sorry. We want to be in our grandchild's life. We ignored them. Last night, we set up the storage cabinet in the new nursery, painted soft blue. I showed Lila the hidden latch in the compartment. My grandfather's old carving tools sat inside. He'd have liked you, I said, voice thick. She rested her head on my shoulder, hand on her belly. I think so too. This is my life now, not the one I sketched on a napkin 8 years ago. It's better. It's real. Nora didn't just lose a husband, she lost the future she discarded. And now she has to watch it play out right next door for the rest of her life. That's not revenge, it's cause and effect, and it's a justice I can live with.